The term "that goalie stood on his head" is going to be an understatement for this video, as today we are going to be looking back throughout the history of hockey and going over some of the most impressive single game goalie performances that occurred in either the regular season or playoffs in the NHL. These performances are not going to be ranked or presented in any particular order, and this is only going to be part one of this video, as there are a ton of amazing goalie performances that we can look back on. So if you guys wouldn't mind, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and also make sure to post in the comments section some goalie performances that we didn't go over in this video so that they may be included for future ones. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, with myself being a Flyers fan, I think it's only appropriate to look back on a fairly recent game during the 2018 AHL Calder Cup playoffs. Number 1. Alex Lyon's 94 save marathon. This game should be fresh in the minds of all hockey fans, as both the Lehigh Valley Phantoms and Charlotte Checkers competed in a marathon Game 4 of the 2018 AHL Calder Cup quarterfinals. What would soon become the AHL's longest game in history, lasting 119 minutes and 56 seconds, Alex Lyon stopped 94 of 95 shots, 53 of them in the extra time periods, to help give the Phantoms a 2-1 win in the 5th overtime. Although the former star Yale goaltender was spectacular, his 94 saves weren't enough to break the all-time save record in the AHL, which is still held by former Flyers goaltender Michael Leighton back in 2008 when he was playing for the Albany River Rats against the Philadelphia Phantoms, where he saved 98 of 100 shots in a 3-2 loss to Philadelphia. Number 2, not normal Normie. Going from a fairly recent game to one where you have to break out your encyclopedias, Normie Smith made history all the way back on March 24th of 1936. Normie Smith didn't have a long NHL career due to multiple different injuries, with his collision with Habs legend Howie Morenz being the most notable, but he did have one of the best 2-year stretches any goalie could have in the NHL, which included back-to-back Stanley Cup championships with the Detroit Red Wings. One game in particular during these runs included an amazing performance against the Montreal Maroons, where Normie stopped 92 of 92 shots to get the shutouts in the semis, a game that lasted 6 overtimes and over 176 minutes, still standing as the longest game in NHL history. After the Red Wings Cup victory the year after, Smith's career kinda spiraled and eventually retired in 1938. A short career for sure, but Normie Smith left his mark in the NHL history books forever. Number 3, Wah Clutch. Speaking of notable playoff performances, we will continue with 3 of arguably the greatest goalies of all time in the NHL. We'll first start with Patrickwah and a Colorado Avalanche team that completely manhandled the Florida Panthers during the 1996 Stanley Cup Finals. The Avalanche swept the Panthers in 4 games, but Patrickwah made sure to do so in dominant fashion in Game 4. Wah stopped all 63 shots that came his way in 3 overtimes to defeat the Panthers by a final score of 1-0 to win the Stanley Cup, in which the only goal scored was from Uwe Krupp of the Avs. Wah finished that postseason run with 3 total shutouts, a 2.1 goals against average, and a .921 save percentage. Number 4, Hasek versus Brodeur. Now, this next goalie performance actually pits together 2 dominant goalies during their eras: Martin Brodeur versus Dominik Hasek from the 1994 Stanley Cup playoffs. With the Sabres down to the Devils 3-2 in the series and facing elimination in the first round of the playoffs, Dominik Hasek literally put the team on his back to come away with the victory. While Brodeur was dominant in the game, stopping 49 out of 50 shots, Hasek was the much busier goaltender who turned away all 70 shots that he faced for the shutout in a 1-0 victory that lasted 4 overtimes. Unfortunately, the Sabres did not win the series, as they lost the following Game 7 2-1. Number 5, Lopresti, low problem. A common theme that all of these performances share so far is that all the goalies came away with the victory. So for the last moment for this video, we'll take a look at a goalie who unfortunately lost the game but still showed out. All the way back in March 4th of 1941, there was a goalie named Sam Lopresti who played for the Chicago Blackhawks. He was recalled by the team after their original goaltender retired midway through the season. Now, the Blackhawks during this period weren't the greatest team out there, but Lopresti kept their games interesting to say the least. And none were more interesting than that March 4th battle against the Boston Bruins. Lopresti faced a total of 83 shots during this contest and had stopped 80 of 82 of them late in the third period until the Bruins would finally solve him, which eventually would be the game-winning goal with a final score of 3-2. The Bruins goalie, Eddie Wiseman, only faced 20 shots during the game and stopped 18, only 1/4 of what Lopresti dealt with on the other side of the ice. Lopresti's record for the most amount of shots faced still stands as an NHL record to this day, but I still can't imagine how one would feel making 80 saves during a hockey game and still losing. I hope the team made it up to him in some fashion. Now, I still have a bunch of different goalies and performances that we didn't mention in this video, so you guys will have to subscribe and stay tuned for the next video in this series. So thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bojo, outro.